Hello, this week I'm in Milton Keynes and this is what's coming up on tonight's Inside Out.
The increasing number of people relying on food handouts.
The lowest time was I had no food in the cupboards, I was down to my last 30 pence and I was worried. I was going through my mind that morning and how I'm going to cope. It's Christmas time as well, you know.
Welcome to Milton Keynes. Now, with less than a fortnight to go until Christmas, many of us are stocking up on food for the festive season. But there are hundreds of people who can't even afford a meal, let alone a big Christmas one. They rely on handouts. Helen McDermott has been to the Foodbank here in Milton Keynes to see why so many people need help.
I had a heart attack, the first major heart attack a few years ago, and then I had another one. Then I had a stroke about a year after that. Which has left me in a bad way, you know, left side, mostly affected by it. Obviously, it's taken my toll, slowed me down, and can't do a lot like I used to.
The problems with his health has meant Michael Parker, who lives in Milton Keynes, can't work. He was forced to give up his job for a taxi company.
Hello, Michael.
Pleased to meet you.
Money is tight for Michael, and several times he's been unable to provide food for himself and his daughter.
It's happened quite a few times over the last few years, and I wouldn't like it to happen to me again. I feel for people it happens to now.
How desperate has it been sometimes?
Well, it has been very desperate. At one time, there was a time where I had 1 can of beans and a couple of slices of bread. Yeah, I've experienced that. And I've kept that by for my daughter, you know, for my daughter to have the next day, to have that herself, because the way I feel, my daughter should have first before I do.
Michael was lucky. The Milton Keynes Foodbank stepped in to help him before the situation got too bad.
There's 3 more little cereal there if there's any. Hello. Oh, how are you? Lovely juice. That's just what we needed. And look. Jam.
The Milton Keynes Foodbank takes another delivery of supplies, this one from a local church. There are over 100 food banks in the UK. Milton Keynes is one of the largest, and it's never been busier.
So, tell me about the food bank.
Well, the food bank provides emergency food parcels to local families, a bit like the ones we've got here. We'll give out 9,000 of these by the end of this year, which is quite a frightening statistic, really.
That's a lot, isn't it?
About 63% up on last year.
Really? So why is it that so many more people need your help?
Well, the problem is the current economic climate. People have got less disposable income and the prices of food and heating costs are all going up, meaning that there's less people to spend on actual feeding their families.
Yeah.
The food bank is for people in genuine need. The aim is to tide them over for a few days. A GP, the Citizens Advice Bureau, and other similar agencies can decide that a person is in need of help and send them to the food bank.
Isn't there a bit of a danger, though, that people might become a little bit too reliant on food banks, and so, you know, they don't go out and try and find themselves a job?
Again, a good point, but the way that we operate, we only allow clients to come to us up to 5 times in a rolling 12 months to make sure that we're actually giving them a hand up rather than a hand out.
The food bank relies on the goodwill of the public to donate the food. Apart from Sue and one other person, everyone else that helps at the food bank is a volunteer.
So what would you get in a food parcel?
It's quite a mixed bag of goodies. A lot of staple diet items, so things like dried pasta, we've got long life juice, we've got a pasta sauce there to go with the pasta.
Some noodles.
Yeah. Long life milk.
Which
you need. Obviously we can get breakfast cereal. It's designed to last a single person for 3 days if this is all that they had.
A good selection, but how nutritious is this? I mean, you've got no fresh fruit, veg, bread.
No, but the items in the food parcel, if this was all they had for 3 days, the nutritionists at the hospital have told us that this would give them all the nutritional value that they need. Not particularly exciting food, but it will certainly keep the wolf from the door for 3 days for a single person.
Well, it's well documented that supermarkets throw away thousands of tons of food every year. So surely they'd be better off donating it to somewhere like this, to a food bank here.
People often ask us that, but as you've seen around you, the food that we have here is tinned food, dried food, long-life produce, not the sort of things that they're disposing of on a regular basis. Normally, when we're talking about that, it's the fresh food, the yoghurts, that sort of item, and it's really not something that we are able to deal with.
After sorting out today's food parcels, Sue and her team of volunteers are off to one of 5 distribution centres in Milton Keynes.
Perhaps people might be surprised that you need somewhere like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Milton Keynes is an affluent city. Certainly if you come to Milton Keynes, you wouldn't see the areas of poverty, but they are there. They're hidden very well behind the tree-lined boulevards, and we are sadly seeing a 63% increase in demand for our service over the last 12 months.
Do you ever feel that sometimes people come in and they could be helping themselves more than they are, and that they don't really deserve this kind of help?
Absolutely. We do get people that will try and you know, get a free food parcel, but we are very keen to make sure that we only help the people that have a genuine qualified need, and our own processes will stop that happening. And if somebody is trying to pull the wool and we catch them, we'll tell them. And sometimes the best help we can give somebody is to actually say, no, enough's enough, you know, you need to get off your backside and do something practical. And if you're not going to use this space when we're giving you food to move yourself forward, then we're going to say no.
How long have you lived here now then?
It's about 14 months now.
Michael Parker is one of those who has reason to be grateful for the work of the food bank. It's helped him out on a number of occasions.
So what was the very worst time for you?
Oh, the lowest time was I had no food in the cupboards. I was down to my last 30 pence, and I was worried. I was going through my mind that morning and how am I going to cope. It's Christmas time as well, you know. And out of the blue, all of a sudden, a hamper turned up from the food bank people. So these 2 people brought the hamper in. Me and Chantel had a look in it after they'd left, and Chantel was going through it, looking, and they actually gave me 4 presents for Chantel to put round the tree for Christmas Day, and 3 for me, so we could enjoy Christmas together. There was tin, ham, this, that and the other in it, yeah, plenty in there, loads. And inside, Chantel found this envelope, a brown envelope, and it had 4 £5 notes in it. Wow, I was just over the moon with that, you know. It was like winning the lottery, really. 4 £5 notes mean so much to me in my life at such a low point.
So what's it like when there isn't enough food in the house?
It's hard, but we have to get through it.
What does it make? How do you feel when you haven't got enough on the table?
It feels like a bit sad, but like you have to like keep your head held high and that.
And you worry about that?
Yeah.
So what do you do with your dad to keep going, really?
Like we keep happy and we keep like each other laughing.
And do you worry, as I say, about your dad, that, you know, sometimes he's not very well?
Yeah. Give a hug. No. Wait. I got that.
Best all in the world.
Sure about that?
About 100 tonnes of food has been donated to the food bank this year. That's up nearly 100% on last year. Just over 40% of the food parcels will be handed out to people between the ages of 26 and 40.
OK, Pete, so there's your food.
Right.
OK, you can then help yourself to go and see Janet on the table and get yourself some teas and coffee. All right. I saw this role advertised in our church newsletter, and it was something that I saw it, I thought I'd love to do that. But at that time, I was working for BT. I'd been there for 10 years, good pay, final salary, pension scheme. Looked at the salary for this and thought, you've got to be joking. But I am a Christian, and it was for me answering a calling, and I took the leap and have never looked back. I thoroughly enjoy my role here and feel that I can make a difference in our city.
Could you use some toothpaste? No, not being offensive here.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you like this is fresh mint or...
How many people would you expect to see here today?
It's always hard to tell because it's a totally unknown quantity, but we normally get about sort of between 15, 16 households come in. Could be a family, could be a single person. We have had up to 35 in the past, in an hour, which is quite going some, as you can imagine. We serve here twice a week, but we actually serve 6 days a week from 5 different locations, so lots of opportunity for people to benefit from our service.
And what are the reasons that people might come here? What are the problems that they might have?
Lots of different reasons. It could be that somebody's just lost their job. It could be somebody has benefits and circumstances have changed, so there's a gap in their benefits. It could be somebody who's just come out of hospital and the hospital give them a voucher so that they've got some food in the cupboard. It could be someone who's just come out of prison, or it could be somebody that's just got an extra big bill come in. I mean, we hear a lot about older people can't afford heating bills. Those big bills can knock somebody for 6 if they're on a low income.
Although his life is still far from perfect, Michael Parker is hoping that his days of struggling to put food on the table are finally over.
Hope the future brings better health and not to struggle with food like I have in the past, and no more benefit problems as well, you know. But I do realise now the food bank in Milton Keynes is there if I need be, you know. But I just hope it doesn't have to come to that again. It is a struggle trying to get a better life for yourself, you know, and it's taken me a while.